Like in relation to the foreign policy question, I think if there is a hostage deal to which Israel and Hamas agreed,
Right.
which I find almost science fictional, but let us stipulate that that is a deal. It will be very, very, very good for Harris. I mean, it could be like a knockout blow good for Harris. It removes at least temporarily a major issue uh, from the table that I don't think she or the Biden administration are handling in a way that will quiet people who really care about this, are not satisfied on either side with the way that they are handling this. If they have a success, obviously she can ride that success. So the question to me is what happens if things are where they remain, which is in a kind of tortuous circumstance in which Israel is winning the war militarily, but is riven with agony and sadness and pain over the condition and fate of the hostages, and that this sort of carries over to how Americans feel, react, think about this. And that's an opportunity for Trump, because the opportunity for Trump is that he can sort of do the Gordian knot. He can slice through this and say, Israel needs to win. That's all that has to happen. I'm projecting strength. Biden and Harris are being weak. They're not supporting our ally, like that. And that's clarity. And he has the benefit, would have therefore the benefit of clarity. I also think, since you bring up the campus protests, those are really bad, depending on where they are and depending on how much focus there is. Those are really bad for Harris, because they not only will evoke disorder and decay, and Trump says he can be strong, and you can believe him or not believe him. I'm not going to argue whether or not he has the right line on this or whether it's going to matter. But his whole thing is, I'm strong, she's weak, she's dangerously liberal, she lets criminals out, and she doesn't care about illegal immigrants, and this is part of the disorder that she will pursue. And he will have some meat on the bones of that, because it's going to be very hard for the Biden administration to respond in a tough manner to the campus protests, because they're worried about the youth vote. I think they wrongly think that the youth vote will be more on the side of being nicer to the protesters than I do, but that's their call. And so it's a very fluid situation. We don't know what's going to happen. I totally agree, but I think that if things follow a linear path now, that's an advantage. Those both together act as advantages for Trump, if, as is always the if, and that's the big if he can stay on message and be clear about what it is that he's accusing her of and why she's wrong about it, because he'll start talking about that, and then he'll start talking about Brian Kemp, or he'll start talking about January 6th, or he'll start talking about something else. Well, he'll be confused, he won't make sense, and then he will kind of fritter away the clarity.